Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi. Menachos Chav Zayin. We begin at the Mishnah, which is 5 lines from the top of the Amud. So we have the kaimitz, and part of it goes missing. Is that critical? Yes. HaKaimitz. Mi'utoi, even a small portion of that kaimitz is mi'akev. Es ruba is critical to the entire kmitza. So even a little of the kaimitz is missing, the whole kaimitz is now possible. Likewise, isorein. Mi'utoi ma'akev es ruba. If something is missing from the amount, the isorein amount of flour, which is meant to be in the mincha, mi'utoi, a small portion of it is mi'akev es ruba. It holds back the rest of it. So the term mi'utoi mi'akev es ruba or ma'akev zezeh all means the same thing. You need the entire amount, the entire quantity, all the various elements, as we're going to see, whether it's in the mincha, etc. So each one is critical, each one is vital to the entire package. Okay, so the kaimitz in its entirety, the isarein in its entirety, mi'utoi mi'akev es ruba, hayayin, wine, which comes along with a korban. Again, the amount is absolute, mi'utoi mi'akev es ruba. You need the entire amount. Likewise, hashemen, mi'utoi mi'akev es ruba, the oil. Rashi says this can be either the oil that comes along with a korban or the lug of oil of a mincha. Once again, you need it in its entirety, mi'utoi. Even a small portion of it which is missing is mi'akev es ruba, interferes with the rest of it. So it's either all or nothing. The two components in a mincha, which are the flour and the oil, both are needed. Hasoilas v'hashemen ma'akev zeh. HaKaimitz v'alavayna, likewise, the kaimitz and the lavayna that come along with a mincha, ma'akev zeh, are both absolutely essential. You can't do with one without the other. My time. Why do we say that the entire kaimitz is critical? The pasuk repeats it once and again to tell you. Rashi says one is in a donated mincha, one is in a minchas choite. You need the full amount with nothing missing. Because when the Torah repeats something, it's for emphasis, to tell you that it's critical. What about the flour? If some of that is missing, who says it's ma'akev amakro? Misol ta, from its flour, to tell you nothing is missing. If something is missing of that flour, it's possible. What about the entire amount of wine, hayayin, mi'utoi mi'akev es ruba? Because it says kacha, as is, with nothing missing. Hashem and mi'utoi mi'akev es ruba. The oil as well. Anything missing, it's puzzle. So it depends. The michas nesachim, the oil that comes along with a korban, because it says kacha, absoluteness. The michas nedava, the oil that comes along with a mincha, we have the other pasuk, makro umisham no, from its oil. The way it's meant to be, with nothing missing. If there's something missing of that oil, it's psula. You can't have one without the other. Oil and flour are both critical. Why? Misalto misham no. Migirso misham no. Again, the Torah repeats it. Soilas and shemen. Girsa is another form of flour, and it's oil. Apparently, both are absolutely essential. What about the kaimitz and the lavayna? You can't do one without the other. Kaimitz lavayna ma'akev zeh. Because the Torah repeats al kol levaynasa, and then again there's kol halavayna shalamincha to tell you that the kaimitz and the lavayna are both critical. Says the Mishnah. Shnei sirei mekibur ma'akev zeh. So we have the pair of goats. One is as a korban chatas, one is thrown down the mountain. They are both critical. They're a pair. You can't do one without the other. Likewise, shnei kivsei atzeres. The two sheep that come on Shavuos, ma'akven, zezeh, they're both critical. Beis chales, the two breads that come along with those two sheep, ma'akvos zu zu. Shnei starin, the two piles of rows of lechem apanim are both critical. Ma'akim zeh. They're needed for each other. They're one package. Shnei bazichen, the two spoons of levina that comes along with lechem apanim, are ma'akim zeh. They're both critical. Hasdarin v'bazichen ma'akim zeh. The breads and the spoons of levina are one inseparable package. Beis minim shebenazir, the two types of bread that come along with a nazir's carbon. Gimel shebapara, three items that come along with a paraduma. That's the block of wood, the grass, and the red thread. V'dal shebetoida, the four types of bread that come along with the carbon toida. V'dal shebelulav, the four aspects of mitzvahs lulav, right? The four items, the lulav, the esrog, the adasim, and the aravis. V'arba shebemetzera, the four items that come along with the carbon metzera. The block of wood, the grass, the thread, and the birds. These are considered one inseparable package. You can't have one element without the other. The 7 sprayings of the blood of the paraduma towards the heichal, from the next mountain over towards the Beis Hamikdash. All 7 are critical. Zayin hazoy shal bein abadim. The various blood applications, the 7 that go on the Aroin and the Kadesh HaKadoshim, on Yom Kippur, those that go on the Paroiches, those that go on the Mizbeach Hazav, regarding various karbanis. So those are critical. If you have one missing, Ma'akvei Zuos. Says the Gemara, the two goats are Ma'akiv each other. Why? Because it says the Lashon Chuka Zois. By the Avodah of Yom Kippur, it says, L'chuka ha'soilam, chuka, absoluteness, no leeway. Likewise, Shnei Kivsei Atzeret, the two sheep on Shvois, Ma'akvin, Zeh, they're inseparable, because it says Havaya. It says, Yihu Yul Hashem, Yihu means absoluteness. Shtei Chalais, 2 breads as well, Havaya, because of Havaya. Shnei Storin, of the Lechem Apanim, chuka. Because of the Lechem Apanim, it says L'chukas. Chak Olam tells you it's absolute. No wiggle space. Shnei Bazichan, 2 spoons as well, because of Chukah. Hashdar Bazichan, the 2 aspects of Lechem Apanim, the breads and the Lavoina, are critical to each other because of Chukah. Shnei Miriam Shebenazar, T'chsiv, Kein Yasa, but Nazar says Kein Yasa. You meant to do it absolutely the way it's said, without missing anything. Gimel Shebapara, but a paraduma as well, it says Chukah. Right? Zois chukas ha-Torah, right? Arba shebetoida, the 4 types of breads by the Toida, are absolutely necessary to discuss Nazir, because the Toida is connected in the pasuk to a Nazir, which has already been established as being absolute. So the Torah mentions Toida together with Shlamav, which is the Shalmei Nazir. So Toida and Shlam and Nazir are on the same track. What we learned, the word Shlamav is Larabi Shalmei Nazir. It addresses the carbon of a Nazir. So Toida and Nazir go hand in hand, just like by the Nazir, it's absolute. Same with the Toida. The 4 items of the Mitzvah are absolute. Toida Mitzvah means absoluteness. The 4 items of the Lulav, because it says Lekachtem. And we learn Lekachtem is like Lekicha Tama, a full, complete taking. All 4 items with nothing missing. Amar Rav Chana Barava, but you meant to know, Leishanu. It's only a problem if he's missing one of the items, missing the Esrog, missing Aval Yeshle, but perhaps if he has all 4 here, even though they're not tied to each other, like we tie the Lulav with the other, Ein Ma'akvin, that's okay. So you meant to tie them together, as we're going to see soon, but if it's being taken separately, one at a time, it's okay. Meisve, here comes a question from a Braisa, which clearly requires us to tie the items together. The 4 types of items by the lulav are split into 2 general categories. 2 of them bear fruit, the lulav and the esrog, and 2 don't, the adasim and the avrabis. Beis mehen oisin pears, 2 of them produce fruit. Beis mehen, the other 2 ein oisin pears, do not produce any fruit. And there's a purpose in binding them together. They represent different classes amongst Klal Yisrael, those that are fruitful, productive, those that aren't, and they both feed off each other and gain from each other. They teach them, they receive from them. Ha'osin peres, those that bear fruit, use a kukin. They're bound, l'she'ein ha'osin peres, to the one that don't bear fruit. And in the reverse as well. U'she'ein ha'osin peres, the one that don't bear fruit, use a kukin l'osin peres, that they're bound to the ones that do bear fruit. It's one team. It's one package. And in fact, one has not fulfilled his obligation until they're all tied together. The same thing we find when it comes to Klal Yisrael davening at a time of fast, and a time of distress. You need to have all components, all elements of Klal Yisrael, even the ones that aren't on the highest level, bound together and davening together. When is it firm? When is it established properly? Yesada. When it's agudasai, when it's one team working together. So clearly, the lulav has to be tied together with the other ones. And here we say you can take them separately. Tanoi, it's a machlekes tanaim. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it is critical to have them tied together. According to Rabban, it's preferred, but not critical. The Sanya. Tanoi, the Sanya lulav bein oged v'shein oged kosher. Whether the lulav is tied together with the other ones or not, it's okay. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer. No, oged. If it's tied with the hadassim ne'eravis, it's kosher. But otherwise, she'ena oged is possible. My time to Rabbi Yehuda. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say tying is critical? Gamar kicha. He has a gzera shava, using the words kicha. It says, take the lulav l'kachtem, and it says, take the bundle of grass. Way back in Mitzrayim, when they sprayed smear the blood on the doorpost, kicha magudas ezev. Malal, just like over there, ba'aguda, it says, agudas ezev, it's tied together, it's one bundle. Afkan ba'aguda, likewise, the lulav has to be tied together with the other ones. For Rabbanon, like Amr kicha, the Rabbanon don't have this Gzer Sheva there file. Come on, so then, how does the next brisa work, where it says, hadasani lulav mitzvah la'igdoi? You meant to tie the lulav with the hadas and the ravas, but otherwise, if you fail to do so, it still works from lav. It's ogdei kosher. Who's speaking in this brisa? Is it needed or not? Come on, is it like Rabida? Lo yogdei my kosher. If you fail to tie them, why is it kosher? It's critical. According to Rabbanon, why is it even required by mitzvah? Like Rabbanon, it's going like the Rabbanon. My mitzvah mishum zekel v'anvei. They don't require it, but it makes it nicer. It's more organized. It's nicer. It's connected to the other types. So Zekil, this is my Hashem, and I will beautify my performance of mitzvahs before Him. So it's not critical, but it's recommended. Sheva Parah, says the Gemara, Mak v'zuzu, the 7 springs of blood of the paraduma towards the Hechel is mi'akev. You need all 7, because it says chukah. Sheva Shal ben abadim, Shal mezbeach hazor, Shal pareiches, various karbanos chatas, which are processed either in the Kedashim and the Heichel. All blood applications are absolutely critical and needed. You can't deduct any. Why? The Yom Kippurim, the ones on Yom Kippur, well, Ksiv Chukah, it says Chukah, like we said before. No allowances. What about the Parkoy Mashiach, the Paral Novashal Tzibur, the Tzibur of Tzkechom, various Karbanas Chatas that the Kohen Gadol would bring, the Tzibur would bring, on account of serious transgressions or doing Avodah Zarah. How do we know that those applications are absolutely critical? Because the Sanyas we have a brisa. V'asal apar. Kasher asal apar. So this is the pasuk by the par helam davashal tzibur, where the public had sinned, they have to bring a par. Do to this one like you did to the other one mentioned before, which is the part that the Kohen Mashiach, that the Kohen Gadol brings. What's the point of making reference? Rashi explains, it already says it all here. You don't need that back reference. To double it up, to re-emphasize that absolutely critical. All of them are needed. You can't discount any of them. If he's missing any of those blood applications, it's a failed carbon. Tana Rabbanan. Here comes a brisa. Sheva hazoyis, Sheva para, the 7 hazoyis, the paraduma. So after they shech the para, they take the blood on Hara Mishcha, which is Hara Zeisim, next to Yerushalayim. They turn. He's standing to the east. He's turning toward the west now, towards the Heichel Kadosh HaKadoshim, and he sprays in that direction 7 times. Now, if it was done without the right intention, he thought it's a different carbon. She'asam and shlo lishman. Doesn't work because the chatas needs to be lishma, the right intention. And even men shalim chavanos, it wasn't lined up properly. It wasn't in the right direction. In both cases, it's psulas. What about v'shabefnim? The blood applications of the karbanos chatas in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, in the Heichel, the ones that we mentioned before. Or the the applications of the carbon of the Metzora. Now, Farshim point out that by the Metzora was speaking about actually the oil, because by Metzora he had a lug of oil. Some of it was sprayed again towards the Heichal. So in both these cases, we say like this: Shaloi lishman psulos. If in these situations he had in mind the wrong carbon, he thought it's something else, then it's possible. Because again, the Shebefnim is talking about a chatas. A chatas has to be done with the right intention. And by the Metzora, we'll see a bit later, even though it's the oil, it's not really blood of a carbon. There as well, if it's done with the wrong intention, it's not considered properly processed to the extent that the Metzora hasn't really fulfilled its obligation, has to bring another one. Okay, now we're going to focus on the next part, and then come back to this halacha. Shleim chavanis. Brisa continues. What if he takes these materials that we just discussed and sprays it, not in the right direction? Okay, so the blood is meant to be towards the Arain, right? It's standing in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. It's meant to do it directly over towards the Arain. Or in the case of the oil, he's standing in the Heichal, in the Azara, and he's meant to do it towards the Heichal. He didn't do it in the right direction. Shalom Chavan is okay, ksheris. But earlier we said, when it comes to the Azoros of the Paraduma, again, which took place outside Yerushalayim, and was meant to be towards Yerushalayim, towards the Kodesh HaKadosh, towards the Heichal. There, the Brisa tells us, Shalom Chavanos is psulais. Okay, so if he misdirected his sprayings of blood of the Paraduma, it's possible. But now comes a Brisa which says that it's okay. V'atani, we have a Brisa Gabei Para regarding the Paraduma. Shaloi l'shman, if he sprayed the blood without the right intention, thinking that it's a different carbon, it's psulais. Okay, like we said before, because the Paraduma has the status of a chatas, which needs proper focus. But shalom b'chavanos, if he did it in the wrong direction, instead of doing it towards the heichal, he did it otherwise. Ksheris, it works. And here we say that the hazois of the para, shalom b'chavanos, are apostle. Amar Chizlai Kash, the answer is like this: two opinions. Ha Rab Yehuda, ha Rabbanan. Depends who's speaking. The first price is Rabbi Yehuda speaking. The azois of the paraduma towards the heichal is absolutely critical. Whereas the second price, which says if you do it in the wrong direction, it's okay, it's the Rabbanan speaking. Because although the pasuk does say v'hiza el noichach towards the Beis Hamikdash, even if he misses that direction, it's okay. Because El is LiveDafka. Meaning even if it's misdirected, it works. He's supposed to do it that way, but according to Rabbi, El is Dafka. It's absolute. That way and nothing else. So this machlekes will surface much later on, all the way on the bottom of the Amid here, whether the term El is Dafka, is absolute, or LiveDafka. But until we get there, it's going to be a whole sort of journey back and forth. We're going to a little bit digress into a different topic, and then come back with the bottom line being, how do you interpret the word El? Is it specific? Is it absolute? That's the shita of Rabbi Yehuda. So v'hiza el noichach, when the Torah instructs the kohen to spray the blood of the paraduma, el noichach, towards the Oyel Mayed, it's absolute. Otherwise it's possible. According to Rabbanan, even if it's a bit sideways or whatever, it's okay. The Sanya, listen to this price. A fellow who's tamei has no business in the Beis Hamikdash, right? Mechusri kapara, shenichnasu la'azara. A fellow who had been tamei and purified himself for the most part, but has yet to bring his karbanos to complete that process. His mechusar kapara. He still somewhat retains his tumah. Therefore, if he enters the azara, He's in bad shape. Shnichus la'azora. If he went into the azora b'shoigeg by mistake, chayiv chatas. He has to bring a chatas. But made on his cars. If he did it willingly, he gets cars. Of course, if he's even more tummy than just missing karbanis, he's still in the day of tumah. He immersed in a mikvah, but he hadn't yet experienced sunset. He's even more a higher degree of tumah. And certainly shar kal atmeim, those that are really tumah. The same status applies to them. Now, what about a person who's tahar? But he went in too far. He doesn't belong in the Eichel. He doesn't belong in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. He's a Yisrael, just the middle of the week, right? A person who's tahar. Even a kohen, he doesn't belong there, but he's not supposed to be there. It went beyond their allowable, territory, and they went all the way into the Heichel. Chitzas Rashi says is the 11 Amos, the first 11 Amos of the Azara, where the Israel were meant to be. So he went past that point and went into the Heichel. Kuloi, right? The entire Heichel. Ba'arboim. He gets Malkus. He doesn't get Misa, he gets Malkus. But if he went beyond that, he went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim Beis HaPareches. And certainly if he went all the way over to the Arayin El Pnei HaKaperes, in this case, by Misa, there is Misa for doing so. Rabbi Daimer, he says, I agree that the Heichel is Malkus. I agree that standing before the Arayin is Misa, but simply walking into the Kodesh HaKadoshim generates Malkus and not Misa. That's the sticking point here. Rabbanan say, Heichel is Malkus, Arayin is Misa, but even Kodesh HaKadoshim is Misa. Rabbi says, no. Heichel is Malkus. In front of the Arayin is Misa, but just in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, away from the Arayin, there's only Malkus. Rabbi Daimer, Kol Heichel Kulu, Beis HaPareches Ba'arboim, and the Heichel or the Kodesh HaKadoshim is 40 Malkus. And only Vel Pnei HaKaperes of Misa. If you stand directly by the Arayin, then there's Misa. Mike, what's the Machlekes about? Whether or not Kodesh HaKadoshim per se is Malkus, like Rabbi Yehuda, or is it Misa like the Rabbanan? V'haikra, the Machlekes revolves around how to learn the following pasuk, which warns against entering in an unauthorized, uncalled for fashion into these areas. Vayim Hashem al Moshe. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, Daber al Achicha, pass it on to Aaron. As follows: Val Yovei b'chaleis al Kodesh. Kodesh here means the Heichal. Don't enter randomly, into the Heichal. There's a Malkus, there's a Lav. So that's a given. Heichal is Malkus. Then it says in Beis HaPareches, which means the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And then it concludes with Misa for one who enters to the point of standing by the Arayin. El Pnei HaKaperes, that's in front of the Kaperes, the Arayin, Asher al-Arayin. V'lo Yomaz. Be careful, don't go in there is Misa. So the pasuk refers to 3 territories. It starts with Malkus, and a reference to the Heichal. It ends with Misa, a much higher, more severe violation and repercussion regarding standing before the Arayin. In the middle, we have something sandwiched in between. A reference to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, per se, without the Arayin. The question is, does it relate back to the beginning of the pasuk and there's only Malkus, or does it relate to the end of the pasuk and there's Misa? That's the Machlekes. Rabbanan say, it relates to the end, there's Misa. Rabbi says it relates to the beginning, there's Malkus. Rabbanan Sabri, Rabbanan hold, El HaKodesh, which is the Heichal, B'lo Yavai. Don't go in there, there's a Lav, there's Malkus. But the next 2 territories relate to Misa, Beis HaPareches, which is the Kodesh HaKadoshim, and certainly Vel Pnei HaKaperes, which is before the Arayin itself, B'lo Yamos, there's Misa. Rabbi Savar, he learns differently. El HaKodesh, that's the Heichal, and also the second territory, Beis HaPareches, that relates to just Malkus, B'lo Yavai. And only Vel Pnei HaKaperes, which is the Arayin, that is B'lo Yamos. My time with the Rabbanan. What is the Rabbanan? What is their reason? Why did they learn the pasuk this way? Because if in fact Rabbi Yehuda is correct in his interpretation, why did the pasuk word it this way? Look at the pasuk can simply say, Heichal is Lav and Arayin is Misa. Skip the middle. Look at the Rachman of El HaKodesh. The Heichal is Lav. Philip Kaperes, which is the Arayin, that's Misa. You don't need the middle section. Because it's anyways only a lav. And the lav he already has for entering the heichal. In order to get to the Kodesh HaKadoshim, you have to walk through the heichal. There's already lav for that. I'll figure out on my own. Heichal mechayev. If he's chayev malchus for walking simply into the heichal, certainly, of course, it goes without saying that there's malchus for going to the Beis HaBarechas. You have to walk through the heichal to get there, right? So why did the pasuk even bother mentioning Kodesh HaKadoshim? In Beis HaBarechas, that the pasuk talks about the Chassid Rachman Olam, what's the point of mentioning? Shema Mina to tell you that gets an upgrade. It's more severe than merely the heichal. But Misa, there's Misa. Rabbi Yehuda responds, no, because Rachman al Kodesh. If it only says Kodesh, I wouldn't know what Kodesh means. I would say maybe Kodesh means the Kodesh HaKadoshim. But now the Torah says Kodesh and says Beis HaParechas, which means Kodesh HaKadoshim. So now I know that inevitably Kodesh means heichal, and there's law for heichal. Because Rachman al Kodesh, without saying Beis HaParechas, I would mistakenly think my Kodesh. You know what Kodesh means? Not the heichal. There's no law for the heichal. Beis HaParechas. It means Kodesh HaKadoshim. Aval heichal lav nami loy. But walking into the heichal doesn't even generate a lav. That's what the pasuk has to stress. Kodesh and al pnei HaParechas. So now we know Kodesh means the heichal. And there's a lav for that. But of course, heichal or even Kodesh HaKadoshim is merely a lav. As long as it doesn't end up before the aron, then it's mis. But Rabbanan say, no, there's no room for mistake. Of course, Kodesh means the heichal. We all know that. You can't even suggest that Kodesh means anything other than the heichal. The heichal kula, you can Kodesh, you know the heichal is called Kodesh. Shnema, the pasuk says, there's a curtain between two areas. Two territories. Beina Kodesh, which is the heichal, or Beina Kodesh HaKadoshim. So we know Kodesh means heichal. Okay. Continues the Rabbi Yehuda my time. What's Rabbi Yehuda's basis for his opinion? Meaning, how does he respond, right, to this? Why does he say that in Beis HaParechas relates to the end of the pasuk, and there is misa for that. Rabbi Yehuda my time. Now he responds to Rabbanan. If the Rabbanan are correct in their understanding of the pasuk would word itself differently. The pasuk would say simply like this: don't go in ala kodesh. And then it would say Beis HaParechas, by entering the Kodesh HaKadoshim there's misa. If in fact that's true, and you don't have to go to the third point of referencing the aron itself, that there's misa. There's already misa for entering the Kodesh HaKadoshim. It's unnecessary to speak about al pnei HaKaporos. There's misa upon entering the area of the aron itself, because I'll figure it out on my own. It's self-evident. V'na'amina. Of course, I'll say Beis HaParechas b'misa. If simply entering the Kodesh HaKadoshim generates misa, of course, when you walk to the aron itself, El Pnei HaKaporos, by even standing in front of the Kaporos, of course. So why did the Torah spell it out? El Pnei HaKaporos, the Chassid Rachman, the Torah says, the Kaporos, the aron, Lamali, what's the point? Shema Mina to tell you that misa is specific to there and nothing else. El Pnei HaKaporos, only there it's misa, but simply Beis HaParechas, simply the Kodesh HaKadoshim is only Basara. He's warned against doing so. There's a lav, there's malchus. For Rabbanan say you're right. Once there's misa for simply entering, of course, for standing before the aron. So why did the Torah spell both out? Why did the Torah say the words El Pnei HaKaporos? To tell you something else. To rule out a fellow who walked inside, who went in through a side wall or something. Instead of going in through the front way from east to west, he broke, a door through the south or north. He came in through the other way. There's no misa for that. As we learned, Al Pnei HaKaporos Kedma. Possibly they were speaking about the blood applications on Yom Kippur. Al Pnei HaKaporos Kedma. Do it, towards the kaporos, the cover of the aron. Kedma. Kedma means the east. So Pnei, the face, is synonymous with east. That's what we learn from this pasuk. Zebon Av. This teaches us. It's like a precedent to teach you. Kol Makav Shnei Pnei. Whenever we have the term Pnei in the psukim, it means the east. Eino Elo Pnei Kadim. Okay, so this confirms what we said before. This is the Rabbanan's opinion that the term Opnei HaKaparis regarding not entering the is specific to entering the proper way from east to west, the way you're meant to enter. Then he's in full violation. But otherwise not. Rabbi Yehuda who already learned the pasuk Opnei HaKaparis to tell you that there's misa only for going for the kapiris. It wasn't an extra pasuk anymore. So how does he know this halacha? It's unavailable to teach. It's just halacha that the isser is only upon entering properly. He says, look, there's still an extra word to address this point. Rabbi Yehuda lema kra pnei. If the point is only to tell you direction, as opposed to coming in the wrong way, it would simply say Pnei HaKaparis, which means from east to west. Let me correct Pnei. My El. Why the extra word El? It's an extra word. Shema Minah to tell you. El Dafka. That the Chi of Misa is specific to one who approaches the Aron itself. So according to Rabbi, El is Dafka. The term El means absolute. Absolutely this way. For Rabban El Dafka. The Rabban who say that even if he hadn't approached the Aron, if he simply entered the Kodesh HaKadoshim, there is Misa, despite the term El, because El is Lav Dafka. Even though it says he approached the, means either he did or even if he didn't. He's in that area, he's in that direction. That also qualifies and is considered a severe violation. Okay, now back to our story. The azois of the paraduma, which were meant to be directed towards the heichal, right over from the next mountain towards the heichal. V'hiza el noichach pnei oil mayid. What does el mean? So it depends on this machlokes. Rabbi Yehuda damer el pnei hakabaras dafka, v'hiza el noichach nami dafka. Just as Rabbi Yehuda considers El Pnei HaKaparis as absolute, Misa is only specifically when he approaches the Kaparis. Likewise, Biza El Noichach is Dafka. It needs to be in that direction only, otherwise it's possible. Whereas the Rabbanan disagree. Rabbanan Medahasim Lav Dafka, just like the term El Pnei HaKaparis is not necessarily Dafka. Even if he's in the general vicinity of the kaparis, he's also chayv misa. Likewise, by the sprayings of the dam of the par, which is meant to be a noichach pnei l'moed, even if it was done the other direction, it's okay. Preferably it's that way, but it works even otherwise. Okay, so that answers our question. We had a stira between two brises. In one brise it says the sheva avazos of the para shaloi mechavanais. If they're misdirected, it's possible. That's Rabbi Yehuda. Other brayta which says kasha, that's the Rabbanan. Ask the Gemara Maskav lo Rabbi Yosef. I have a question. Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, says that the term El means specifically, absolutely, no negotiations. But the El dafka. So just as the word El is absolute, and also El neichach nami dafka, right? El demigdash sheni de lo yavu aron v'kapiris achanami lo aved azois. So on Yom Kippur, you're meant to do El Pnei HaKaparis. Stand before the Aron and spray towards the Kaparis. During Midah Sheni, the Aron and Kaparis were hidden, were put away by Yeshua Melech, who hid them in the chambers beneath the Beis HaMikdash, so that it's not taken into exile. So we didn't have an Aron and Kaparis. How could he do the Hazois of the Chatas and Yom Kippur? Hachanabi, the Loyavid Hazois, you mean to say he skipped the Hazois? Because if you can't do it right, you can't do it as prescribed. You can't do it at all. According to Rabbi Ulam, we have another pasuk to address this. That even this is okay. V'chiper es migdash hakodesh. So this is again on Yom Kippur. He'll be mechaper es migdash hakodesh, which covers a situation where they were missing the actual aron. Makam hakodesh l'kodesh. Even if he did it on the makam, on the place where there used to be an aron, which is sanctified for the sake of the aron, even without the aron itself, it works. So there's a special pasuk for that. Okay, Rava Amar, back to that initial contradiction. One brisa says that the azoyos of the paraduma have to be done directly towards. The other one says even if it's not, it's okay. Rava Amar, Hava Rabbanon. Both brisas are following the Rabbanon, who say that direction isn't absolute, but it depends how much misdirected he was. You have to be in the general direction for it to work. The Brisa says it works, even if it's not exactly up. That's when at least he's standing in the right direction. He's standing in the east and he's spraying towards the west. So even if he didn't do it directly, it works because he's in the general, the Brisa which says it's possible, so if he's doing it totally the wrong direction, he's standing tzafai and he's doing Tadarim or the other way, totally way off. In this case, it's possible. So let's go back to the Brisa and address one more point. V'shebefnim, v'shebemitzora, shaloi lishman psulois, shaloi mechavanois ksheris. So shebefnim is a chatos, which is internal chatos, whose blood is meant to be applied towards the to the arayin, etc. So if it was done shaloi lishma at the right intention, thinking that it's different carbon, it's possible. Chatos shaloi lishma is possible. Likewise, if the mitzoras springs, here we're talking about the oil that the mitzora brings along with his carbon, and it's meant to be again sprayed 7 times towards the heichal. Shaloi lishma, it's possible. Okay, shebefnim, shebemitzer, shlebishman psulis, shlebechavanis ksheris. But if they were done, not directly lined up in the right direction, it's okay. But Tanya, we have a brisa which says even shloi lishma is kasher. Ben shloi lishman, ben shloi mechavanis ksheris. This brisa speaks about the springs of the oil of the mitzora. Shloi lishman, okay. Shloi mechavanis, okay. And there we say shloi lishman by the oil is possible. Amar Rav Yisrael kasha. Here's the answer: a difference of opinion. So again, the question is the springs of the mitzora's oil, shloi lishman, is that critical or not? Amar Rav Yisrael kasha. Ha, Rabbi Lezer ha Rabbanon. That's what's speaking. According to Rabbanon, it's okay because they hold that the only time lishma is critical, the only time you have to have the right, that's by a chatas. An asham, shloi lishma is okay, and certainly the oil of the asham, of the mitzvah that comes along with the asham, certainly it's okay, shloi lishma. Whereas Rabbi Lezer says, an asham and a chatas are on the same track. Just like by the chatas. Lishma, having the right intention, is critical, same with the asham, same with the oil of the asham. The oil of the mitzvah. Ha, Rabbi Lezer v'Rabban. Rabbi Lezer the makash asham lachatas. Rabbi Lezer connects and compares the asham to the chatas. And just like a chatas, shloi lishma is possible, same with the asham. Makash nami, lugli asham. Just as the asham has that status, the lug that comes with the asham, which is connected to the asham, also has that status. Shloi lishma is possible. Whereas the Rabbanan, loy makshi, they don't connect asham to chatas, and certainly not the oil. Ask the Gemara one more question, Rabbi Lezer. But according to Rabbi Lezer, you're making a double connection. You're connecting the oil to the asham to the chatas. How could you do that? Could you make a chain derivation? Since when can something which derived its own law from a hekesh, the asham from the chatas, pass that further and export it to the lug through another hekesh? You can't do that by korbanos. Elama Rava, Hava Rabbanon says, Rava, you're right. Both brises, the one that says lishma is possible, the one that says kosher, both the Rabbanon. And of course the actual lug is kosher, it's successful, but not with respect to counting for its owner. Because we know this from way back that even when the carbon would be kosher, shelo l'shma, you have to redo it. It's not credited to its owner. You have to redo it. Kan la hachsher. The Brisa says shelo l'shma is okay. That's regarding the success of the actual, carbon itself. The oil was successfully processed, and you can eat the leftovers. Kan la hartzais. But with respect to counting for its owner, for the owner getting credited for that doesn't work unless it's done with the proper intention. And that's what the Brisa meant to say. That it doesn't work means to say that it has to be redone properly for it to count. Okay, let's recap today's daf. We discussed all the packages that are critical. The kaimets, the yayin, the shem, and the soilus and shem, and the kaimets and lavoina, the shnei sirim and kippurim, all the aspects of lechem apanim, of the breads of the toida, etc., etc. We have the psukim to source all these halachis. The lulav, according to Rabban, has to be tied together, but that's only as beautification. But of course, it's not mi'akiv. We spoke about the azoyos of the paraduma, whether or not it has to be muchavanos. We had a machlegas on that. We discussed an interesting shaila regarding the status of a person who walks into the wrong area, to the heichal kadashim. At what point is there only a lav? At what point does it become more serious? And we had another interesting machlekas regarding the lukshem and shel matzorah, whether or not the shema is ma'akiv in that regard. All the best to you and atzlacha.